1 year ago this week, on May 14th, 2022, a white supremacist, self described ethno nationalist entered the Tops Friendly Market in the East Side neighborhood of Buffalo, New York, and opened fire. 10 people, all of whom were black, were murdered. India Walton is from Buffalo, and she recently wrote a piece that we sent to our Roots Action list yesterday. India, you want to talk to us a little bit about that piece and the feelings in Buffalo more generally?
Yeah, so Sunday marked the 1 year anniversary of the racist terrorist attack on the only grocery store that exists within many miles in Buffalo's east side, which is predominantly black. Um, and it wasn't as active with the media as it was last year immediately following, but there was a lot of media, there were lots of dignitaries. And when the story opened last year, so the massacre happened in May, clearly, and the store reopened in July. And when the store reopened, there was a ceremony and there were poets and there was a prayer and a vigil, but there was a fence around the parking lot, and you couldn't get inside the rededication unless you were invited. And this felt very similar, right? At the memorial, there was a moment of silence. The governor came and spoke, the mayor spoke, all of the important people were there, and they were under a tent and they were seated. And members of the community were standing, and a lot of people couldn't see the speakers, couldn't hear the speakers. Um, and the sentiment is that a whole year has passed. We've gotten lots of promises, people pretending to be outraged and denouncing white supremacy, but nothing has changed. Housing is deplorable. This is a neighborhood that lives in abject poverty. Um, you know, the plans to increase food access in this neighborhood have come from the community and not from the administration of the city, not from the state, not from any of these folks who are so-called leaders in this community. And I think that there's just a lot of frustration that we get more of the same, and the emphasis has been more on gun control, which is important, right? Assault weapons should just be banned. There's no reason to have an AR-15. However, the reason why this person was able to drive from 200 miles away and target black people, many of whom were pillars in our community, elders in our community, the reason why he knew he could target a predominantly black store is because it is the only one. It's the only one that people in that neighborhood have to shop at. Notwithstanding that it is substandard in the first place, right? It was substandard. They've done renovations. The store looks better, but there's still not a butcher in the store or fresh seafood. Um, I could go on and on with the complaints, but part of the reason why I am so excited to be in the position that I in, working for Roots Action Civic Engagement, is because the problem lies in the leadership. And the way that we change that is through voter engagement, through civic engagement. So I've been, talking to young people about how power works within the city of Buffalo, making sure that our young people and not so young are registered to vote and know that they actually have choices, because who governs really matters when it comes to things like where grocery stores are located, the quality of our housing and streets and things like that. So it was a somber time, but I'm very hopeful that this will compel people to pay a little bit more attention to how our local government is run.